Ora então, estamos de volta, obrigado por estarem de volta. A seguir temos uma palestra dos Device. Os Device são um estúdio criativo focado em animação proveniente de Barcelona. Eles têm uma equipa de diretores, ilustradores, animadores, designers e compositores de música e são conhecidos pela sua diversidade estilística e pela sua capacidade técnica. Esta apresentação vai ser em inglês, portanto, se alguém não se sentir confortável, desculpa. I'll give you guys the word. Thank you for coming and wish you guys luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you for having us. It's a great pleasure to be here. We named this presentation Creative Process and Strategy, but it could also be named Obvious Stuff. It took us a while to understand. And basically, we want to drive you through our history and process that took us here today. It's been more or less 8 years. We started the studio, and we wanted to share with you the insights and all our thoughts and reflections about how do we organize, how do we sell our work, and also show you some of our projects during the way. So, well, I'm Marcello, here my partner Ibran. It's just 2 of the 5 original partners at Device. Here's all the team. Right now we are 7 employed, and then we used to collaborate with a lot of a huge freelance network. As they introduced us before, our work is focused on animation. We are a team of directors, illustrators, animators, sound and music, sound designers, and music composers. And we also like sometimes to take care of creativity of the project, not just to receive a brief and take it to life in animation.
So, it's already been 11 years since we started as an initiative or kind of a studio. And here is a little bit of those 11 years of joy, of pain, of tears, of blood, of friendship, of projects as well.
So we basically started out more or less right out of university, and we already started working together, collaborating. We had some, daylight jobs, and we were getting together at nights to have our, creative freedom space to experiment and do our stuff. So basically, we were born with the idea of building this T-shirts brand. We came up with the naming, with the logotype and everything. We did 2 T-shirts for ourselves, and that's it. The T-shirt brand history stayed there and died.
Since, as Marcello said, we were working in another studios during the daytime, what happened is that these studios, once they reached this amount of work that they couldn't handle, they call us and they say, hey guys, do you want to help us doing this project that we cannot afford? And you have like creative freedom, but you have not budget, but you have this opportunity to work with these clients that otherwise, if you start with the studios, you may know it's difficult to reach. So this is one of the first projects that we did for Canal Plus. I don't know if you know, it's a TV channel for the Spanish network.
So it's basically our first motion graphics project of our history. And I think you can tell. We were working on these kind of projects at nights. We were getting together and forgot about the T-shirts and starting working together on motion graphics. At the same time, we got other kind of commissions like art installations, like this one we did for Red Bull Music Academy held in Barcelona. And we were just playing around with electroluminescent threads and UV lights. Then another project we were working on, it was an audiovisual project again, and we were experimenting with the scanner, photography, stop motion. We were just trying to have fun and find new ways of expressing ourselves, not necessarily with the latest technology.
Exactly. This is the scheme of the gear that we use to generate these kind of images that were long exposure with the scan and playing with those tools around. These kind of images. Actually, we just put in the images because the video is like a little bit lame nowadays, so keep only the images in mind. And the funny thing is that we didn't have a studio, so our studio was our home. 3 of us lived together, and this was our day-to-day kind of organization and studio and desk and whatever you want to call it. This was our reality. So after doing several projects and we start like gaining confidence and we say, okay, let's sit down and let's do a studio, let's have a space, let's start working together, but in a really, really professional way. So in 2011, we got in our studio here in Barcelona. I don't know if you guys have been in Barcelona, but we are in Poblenou, so if you are around, we can meet. And the funny thing is that once we saw our studio, the thing that we loved the most and we totally fell in love with was our terrace. So we have like this space outdoors, so we can have phone calls, or we can discuss things, or we can have like parties like this one, for example. Very important, you know that. So this is our reality right now.
We also have an inside part in the studio. We actually work, and yeah. So we started with the studio, and one of the first projects we were working on at that moment was a music video for friends of ours called Meneo, which is a guy that makes music with a Game Boy, and it's like an electro-tropical music style, we can say. So we were, we just did this music video for him. Funny story is we got a hard drive full of footage that was shot with, we don't know with what intentions, not by us. So we took that material and made this music video.
This was the original footage that we got from the hard drive.
Suda, suda, tu figura. Suda, suda, hay calentura.
It's long and epileptic. You can watch that online, and we're kind of in a rush. So besides that, another project we were working on at that moment was an infographics for a lighting company from Barcelona, showing how they were trying to implement a smart city system in the city.
Becomes more efficient, cheaper and more ecological, providing the city with greater control. One of the main benefits is its capacity to control light intensity in each street lamp according to needs. For example, in a pedestrian crossing or in certain areas of the city. To achieve...
But we had to pay the bills, obviously. So, and besides that, we also had like this street art side with illustration and graffiti, and so we mix these kind of projects with some kind of urban interventions like this, that it's more illustration, handmade.
We also keep on with art installations, and next slide. We build this clock composed by 100 clock hands that were working at the same time, generating different patterns throughout the time of the day.
With some design of a typography,
illustration. Then we also were working on graphic ideas, on sound design for other projects, and we ended up having a website like that, mixing all these kind of projects, and the feeling was a little bit, what the fuck, like, is this a blog, is this an agency, is this, clients, and people in general didn't understand what we were doing.
So when we get into 2013, what we did is separate, apart from taking out some of the projects that were not like complete as a whole movie or something like that, we split our portfolios in two sides, the white side and the black side. The white side for the commercial work, the black side for the more experimental one. So somehow clients didn't get afraid when they enter our website, because everything was more organized and had its own space. So we use this logo for referring to these both sides. So for us, the balance was to have both sides, the white and the black side. So we put it the yin-yang logo. We appropriate this logo for our main device logo.
Yeah, because somehow these two sides were really building our portfolio, and we felt like both sides were really spinning out of our work, and we had the ability and the versatility to work in those different fields.
We also did a song.
We're divides, inspired and nice. We're nasty and nice. We're hot in the spice. Here's advice: don't roll the dice. Don't think it twice. Come to Levi's. Open your eyes. Good-looking guys.
We wrote the song and we sang the song, we composed the song. Actually, Ibrahim is singing because he and Raul, another one of Device, has this post-trap kind of band. And so we had these two sides, and this would be the commercial side, the white side, the side that wouldn't scare any client, and also the side that was, let's say, paying the bills as well. In this kind of work, we were directing campaigns for a real estate from a bank's real estate in Spain, like this one, trying to show a very intricate thing like getting a mortgage in a very simple and nice way.
Aconseguir el que havies pensat que mai no aconseguiries. Això és el nostre assessor personal. Solvia.cat, la immobiliària de Banc Sabadell.
Or with these kind of projects, we did for Primavera Sound. Primavera Sound interviewed John Carpenter, the movie director and also musician, and they asked John about his favorite and first music memory. So they sent us this interview, and we proposed this movie reflecting this first music memory that John Carpenter had. So we played with these QBs kind of a style, since we consider that memories are not a very vivid and single image. When you remember something, it's little pieces that are in your mind and make a whole bigger picture. So that's why we started playing with this style.
My favorite memory related to music would have to be when I was very, very young. I don't remember how old, but like 4 or 5 maybe. And we lived in a log cabin in Kentucky. So my bedroom was in the back of the house. And near the bedroom was a radio. And it was a wonderful radio. It picked up shortwave and it picked up distant stations. I remember one Sunday afternoon, I was lying in bed, maybe taking a nap, and I could hear the radio playing some classical concerto. And then the radio was off, and then distantly inside the house, I heard almost the same concerto start up again. And then, what's going on here? So I got up out of bed and walked through the house and opened doors down hallways and opened the door and came into the living room, and it was my father with his violin playing the concerto that I had just heard on the radio, live, playing it. And it was beautiful.
Yes. Okay, we are back.
So we are back and we are, wait a minute. Here, yeah. So that was our white side, and then if you went to the to pick in the menu the black side, you had all this like symmetric portfolio, but with all this experimental mood, different aesthetic approaches, looking more towards this internet language, more of a niche target, right? One of the projects we recently developed for in this kind of mood is for a client we've been working for a while. It's an electronic music festival and digital arts festival as well, called Mira in Barcelona. And for that edition, we work with a guy which is a quite famous psychic in Spain. So we contacted this guy doing these shows in the TV and, you know, taking not really serious people's life, but he's actually a nice person. So we contacted him and we developed this campaign where he was a messenger bringing the music from the future to the audience, right? So this festival is really discovering new artists to the audience, and this guy would be the one that brought the message to them.
Yeah, actually these glasses were his glasses. They are called radionic glasses, and they help you to see even further in the future. So we pick also the glasses to put it there in the image.
And then we recreated like the format of his show, but with our aesthetics and graphics, and we launched a social media quest where the audience of the festival could ask anything they wanted about the festival or life itself, and somebody would answer those questions. So the audience didn't know about this guy until they saw the video.
¿Qué nos depara el porvenir? ¿Cuándo? ¿Cómo? ¿Por qué? Espero iluminar vuestro camino con las respuestas que me han sido reveladas. Empezamos con la primera. ¿Empezarán los DJs que hacen set, a no decir live? Mario Busto, qué gusto que me preguntes eso. Siguiente pregunta. Pero, ¿Dios existe? Pablo, la pregunta no es si Dios existe. La pregunta es, ¿tú existes? Piénsalo. ¿Vendrá Afex Twin al Mira? Un momento, necesito ver más allá para contestarte. Veo que sí, pero no lo tengo claro. Veamos la siguiente pregunta. ¿Cuándo despertará el tigre que hay en ti? El mío ya hace tiempo que despertó, pero el tuyo despertará muy pronto, concretamente el 9 de noviembre. Y a todos vosotros os digo lo mismo, liberar vuestras almas y abrir vuestros corazones. Pronto llegará la luz.
So, the
We had a lot of fun working on this campaign, and it actually was the most engaging campaign the festival had. But the best thing came afterwards.
Yeah, actually, this was the photo shooting that we did with this guy, Jorge Vidal. He's a photographer, a great photographer. And the thing is that Sandro asked us all this material that we already had for him, but we didn't know for exactly what. So since we were like very, very happy with how Sandro played his character on this movie, and everyone was very happy about the campaign, etc., we sent this huge file of thousands of pictures that we take to him. So after a few days, we start seeing these kind of images at his Instagram account. So these are our images, but much, much better, retouched by him, with great sentences, si amas de verdad, if you really love, and blah, 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 and was like putting this one, time and money, for example, always something very important for a lot of people, and a lot of these images over and over in his Instagram account. This computer. Actually, he was starting his musical career as well, so he took this picture inside of a CD because he started to make music. In a flyer as well, he put the picture in there. So it was funny because actually the best part of the campaign was made from this guy actually, not from us. So you never know.
We should have hired him as a creative director and art director and designer and everything, because he really did a better job than we did. So. Anyway, in our quest for finding the right way to sell our work and to showcase it, in 2016 we faced this kind of situation where we wanted to be sold as directors, but we also were doing this work as animators. So we decided to separate the two things in order to be understood by clients and agencies and stuff, just as directors, because otherwise if you were mixing things, then the perception wasn't exactly the same, and the cachet maybe wasn't as good as we want to.
Yeah, so we also needed the animation works for paying the bills, so that's why we keep this website for the not mixing.
So we created another website with another name, AUX, like Auxiliary Works, and we built all this portfolio. We were doing works like that, directed by our friend Joaquín Urbina.
A veces el coche que te gusta no es exactamente el coche que necesitas. Lo importante es que tu seguro sí que sea el que necesitas. En Direct, por un lado eliges el mejor seguro para tu coche y por el otro, la mejor asistencia para ti. Y es que en Direct Seguros ni pagas de más, ni te aseguras de menos. Si no se entiende, no es Direct.
So nice and fun work, but not directed by us. So finally, we likely didn't need. We haven't had the need of using this website because the device one was working pretty good.
Yeah, and actually the domain expired, so we don't have aux.com anymore. So aux.org.
That was how AUX died.
Exactly, because of the internet. So another very important thing for us is the studio content. In order to keep ourselves like in a healthy mental or healthy way, because if you work with a lot of advertisement, you end up like hating everyone, so you need your own projects for sure.
To stand up, to give your creative, space a format, and to be able to speak for yourself and not just by brands.
So this is one of our, but it's called a postcard, and the thing is that we started playing around with this idea of these cliches, pictures and images that you take when you are in your holidays, in your vacations, that you touch the sun, or you jump in the beach, or you take a food pic, or whatever. And we mix it with this sci-fi nearby future, like Black Mirror, in where you have to think about the things that you give for granted and technologies involved. So
there was the summer love involved as well, and a reflection on how we live our lives with the rising of technology. Okay, where were we at? So we were in this Black Mirror-ish sci-fi trip to future vacations as a studio project, and being able to step out of the advertisement formats. We wanted to go into a more narrative kind of format and create this short film. We wrote, directed, produced, everything.
Hi, Anne. I'm here, very far from home, but in very good company.
Look at the views. Amazing, right? On this trip, I discovered magical places. That it's important to appreciate what we have.
Say cheese.
But being far away helps you become closer to yourself. There are people who, no matter what, never stop smiling.
I'm not afraid of motorcycles anymore. Flying either.
And I met someone very special. His name is Brad. We began a whole other trip here. With him, I visited 1,000-year-old temples. I learned that the best nights are the ones that end the following morning. I traveled from the deepest to the highest points on the planet. Here we got lost and tried some very authentic flavors.
I'm recording. Go ahead. Oh, you're crazy.
With him, I lived infinite moments like this. And these. Oh, this one's my favorite. And well, this too. But as my grandmother used to say, growing up is learning to say goodbye. Of course, I didn't say goodbye. Just see you soon. See you in a few days. Hugs and kisses.
Okay, so we are quite out of time, so I think we should be going through that very quick. As a recap of how we started, 2008, t-shirts brand, no t-shirts brand, what the fuck website, black side, white side, then auxiliary side, no auxiliary side, back to black side, and since 2018 we got to the point that we really enjoyed working on the black side thing, and we did want to give it the space and importance it deserved. So we created another studio with another name, identity, website, everything for that. It's called Amigo Total.
Let's skip the process.
Yeah, very, very quick.
Yes. Actually, we had like a little bit of the process because I'm going to talk a little bit faster. Since you have to put another name 10 years after you have made your first studio, you start like getting weird names with a rap name generator, for example, White Killer P or Scrappy Nugget. So we imagine that Scrappy Nugget could be like a guy like this, but then we like the word droga, which is drugs, as you may know in Spanish. We thought that it could be like very engaging and very tough and very black side, but then we discarded it, and then we find this word that we the five of us liked, which is total. So we use another name generator that has name combinations plus the .com domain for free.
Available.
Available.
No, not for free.
Not for free, available, sorry. So this name generator got one of these names, and one was Amigo Total. So we reach out our friends from Querida Studio. You should visit their website, which is an amazing design studio, and they came out with this typography, these two colors, and this website. So we're going a little bit quick. Sorry about that, but since we have like this blog as well that collects these non-academic logos that are very honest. So if you sell bottled water, you put a bottle of water in your logo with eyes and hands and legs and waving at the potential client. So as Amigo Total, we were thinking about the @ symbol because it was like Amigo Total, and because it was an online user. So the black site that works a lot with these internet aesthetics was something that fit perfectly for us with these three things. So we started doing our logo in this turbo logo way, and we end up with this one, which is the Amigo Total, that says hello, that call us, etc., etc. So, sorry.
We really like to play with our faces in weird context. So we thought of calling out this guy that did an internship at our studio. He's an amazing illustrator, Raf Andrade, and we asked him to mix this kind of rap gang with
his Disney kind of illustration that we have in here. So he came up with
these portraits for our website.
That is this Disney Channel rap badasses in a way.
I think we can skip to the reels because we have no more time.
No more time? Okay. Well, then
we skip this one.
We skip this one, Pixel.
Then 2018, we also realized that we had a lot of pixel aesthetic-based portfolio. So different projects, working for gaming, but also for narrative projects. Well, this is one of the projects, but we can skip that. So after Amigo Total, we thought, why don't we create another name? And we have, you know, the commercial stuff at Device, the experimental stuff at Amigo Total, and the pixel stuff at All in Pixel. So yeah, we created another studio called All in Pixel. We created more
portraits of ourselves.
Then the first project we did was a short film, a sci-fi short film. We're not going to show you, but it was a lot of fun and a lot of work. And so we're basically Device.
Also Amigo Total. The Amigo Total reel is all of our projects, put it one after the other, but stretched in 1 minute. So this is
And we are also All in Pixel, the first pixel art motion studio in the world. Or at least it was. So yeah, as we had at the beginning this black site and white site working together, now we have two, instead of 2 sites, we have 3 sites, and even though if the scheme is a bit more complex, it's pretty much the same. Everything fits everything, and everything somehow
everything,
and everything somehow gets in the process, in the creative process of all the 3 studio names. So being these guys, or these guys is basically the same team with the same creative, curiosity, seeking for different outputs and different outputs regarding the needs of every project. We had been working in another short film that's we're gonna skip it. It's on the device website if you wanna check it, and that was a lot of work as well. But we wanted to share some thoughts with you that we've learned along the way. And the first one is the importance of defining yourself, no? And why the truth is out there, because sometimes we lost a lot of time looking out on how can we define our work and our structure, and it's basically the 5 of us since the beginning, out of friendship and curiosity and this willing not to lose the essence of experimentation and the essence of having different styles and not falling into specialization as the market usually asks you. Another thing is the human factor, and sometimes we used to hide behind the name of the studio, and we learned that it's really, really important to have a name and a surname in front of a client to build confidence and reliability and this relationship which goes behind the work you do. Then regarding this duality, we ended up saying, no, we don't want to specialize, we do want to keep on working with all these styles and keep on producing all these different moods and experiment and don't fall into specialization. So we ended up doing these 3 studio names, which is a bit of work because you need to handle 3 websites and 3 social networks and whatever, but it's where we are so far.
Yeah, and it's a way of having both sides, of being specialized and to work in different styles. So the product is the 50%. Obviously, as Marcelo was saying, we have the human factor, we have to show our faces, we have to put names, we have to have this close relationship with clients, because at the end of the day, they are calling people. They are not calling websites. They are calling him, they are calling you, they are calling me, they are calling them. So.
And the other thing is that we thought, oh, our work speaks for itself. We are quite happy with it, with our portfolio, so we're going to just wait and see if the phone rings. But next slide. We then realized that we had to have a sales strategy and go out and directly go and look for the work. Because a lot of times the phone rings, but if you go and look for the projects you want to do, the ratio is quite higher.
Yeah, and the thing is that you don't have to wait for opportunities to come. You have to figure out what are the things that you really want and go for them, actually. So it's a different strategy that we were not already doing. And the last one, as Sandro says, keep doing what you love in a heart inside.
Because as we started the talk, it's quite obvious stuff, but it took us some time to learn that, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
And obrigado.